Henry Watson Longfellow once said, "Every man has a secret sorrows which the world knows not, and oftentimes we call a man cold when he is only sad." On this episode of the Simpsons Analytical Study Show, myself and co-host Chris Howard will be discussing Springfield housewife Marge Simpson and asking the question, is she happy? As usual, we try to maintain our case study to the classic Simpsons seasons. The main reference point we will revert to in this conversation is the 14th episode of the 7th season, entitled Scenes from the Class Struggle in Springfield. Should you wish to follow along with our cross-character comparison, we make mention of Peggy Hill from the series King of the Hill, drawing reference from episode 22 of season 3, Death in Texas. We do invite counterpoints from our listening audience, and they can be left as comments below where we host this and many other fine shows on www.tophatsandcanes.com. That's www.tophatsandcanes.com. Thank you for your attention, and now let's get down to some Simpsons ass. I gotta club you and eat your bones. Right, okay, so that's all there. We can hear our voices now. Mm-hmm. Chris, can I ask you a question?
You can.
Do you think Marge is happy?
Wow.
Not are any of us happy. Not what is happiness.
Particularly happy.
Is Marge happy?
That's quite a deep question.
Yes, it is. Deep questions are what we do here now.
It's difficult to obviously know because you're not that person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in some respects she is. Is she fulfilled? That's a different question, I suppose.
Yes, those are two different questions, but is not being fulfilled part of being happy? Can she be happy with her lot in life as a wife and mother? She seems to be. She's been doing it for 28 seasons.
But then there's a few times when it's like the mask has kind of slipped, I suppose. They're all starting a business, the pretzel wagon.
Right, this is where the conversation started a while ago, because we were talking about how Homer's had loads of different jobs, and that's fine. But Marge has had like 3, and she never learns anything from them. It never grows her as a character. It seems to like revert her as a character. It's like when Homer goes and does something else, he can just go back to being at the nuclear plant the next day.
Yeah.
But like Marge works as like a police officer. She's really good at being a police officer, and she just stops being a police officer, and then goes back to being a homemaker. And when she's away being a police officer, nothing goes wrong in the home. So what is she doing there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't see Maggie in that episode though.
Maybe because they thought that's the folly of it. They can't. I don't know. It's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, there's the one where she gets a real estate license as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I understand the idea that they can't have characters change, almost they have to go back. But it seems kind of sad. I mean, when Homer tries anything new, it's just a spectacular mess. Whereas Marge seems to do quite well at it, and there seems to be almost like a moral reason why she shouldn't do it anymore. Because I remember, was it selling that house, the murder house,
the murder house, yeah.
And she was worried about that. It wasn't that she was bad at it.
Well, there we go. This is a big Marge point to make. The morality of, like, she does address herself as being the wet blanket of the family somewhere down the line. She realizes that that's her role. Yeah. It's not a fun role, but it's what has to be done to keep order.
Well, she's a straight man, isn't she? She has to be.
But that makes her such a boring character.
Yeah, but if they were both Homer, if she was the female Homer, the show would just be ridiculous. It wouldn't.
It would be ridiculously funny.
There'd be no anchor though. There's nothing to bring it back down to what it make it sound like she's a killjoy, and in some ways she is, but it's a necessary part of it. It's even like daft things. Like I remember speaking to someone about EastEnders, for example. I don't really watch EastEnders, and people moan about certain characters in EastEnders, like, oh, I hate them. They're really annoying, really. I was like, you need those characters. If you just had a show full of likable characters, no one would want to watch it. You need the kind of it's about the kind of the interactions of these people. And Marge is a necessary, I suppose, evil. That makes sense.
It's a bit much change. She's evil.
It's not evil, but if it was all just kind of all Homer,
it'd be too much.
Yeah, it'd be too much. I feel like I'm doing Marge a disservice. I think there's a lot more to her.
Well, that's it. Like, you look at like the background of the character. There's so much more she could have done.
than end up with Homer.
There's a lot more potential as when she was like in school, for example, than Homer ever had. And there's almost that, it's kind of a very, very kind of sad sense that, not that he purposely trapped her or anything, but
it's not a good story. It's the story of a girl who could have done anything, ends up getting knocked up on a mini golf course by some idiots, and then has to become a stay-at-home mother.
Yeah, I mean, she seems happy with her lot, though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but even that descriptive happy with her lot.
It's got negative connotations, hasn't it?
That's no way to live, man.
No. But I mean, what's the episode where she meets an old friend from school who's like a famous, like, reporter? Might be a later one. Yeah, and Lisa kind of looks up to her.
Yeah, I'd say that's out of the range of what we're talking about here. But even I can't remember what happens in that, but I'm sure order is resolved at the end.
Oh, there's resolved, but I think I get the impression that Marge has got a bit of jealousy there.
You know, it's weird because a lot of the Marge Lisa episodes are past season 8, 9. It's all in the newer stuff. And I don't know why, because like Lisa is basically a mini Marge, whether she wants to admit it or not. They have a really good interaction in the Fallen Angel episode, and then when they find the angel bones, them all, and like it's about like Marge kind of believing that it's real, or like thinks she should believe it's real, and Lisa like as a child for the first time as a child thinking, oh, my mother's an idiot. You know? Yeah, it's a weird thing to go through as a kid. That she knows Homer's an idiot. That's fine.
Yeah, that's established. Yeah,
she expects better from Marge because she acts as the voice of reason, and how can the voice of reason believe in something so stupid?
Yeah, something unreasonable. Yeah, interesting. I never thought about it that way before.
But at the same time, they're both downers. They're both wet blankets. They're both like the when Marge isn't there, Lisa becomes the mother, and like that's like one of the gags that played upon.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still trying to go back to the whole, is Marge happy? And I don't know.
A lot
to be carefully honest.
Not a lot of the episodes. Some of the Marge episodes are based on her like being stuck in a rut and like wanting more. Like the Thelma and Louise one.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically her sick of being the mom and she wants to go do something else. The one when she becomes a cop, she's sick of the normal day-to-day, wants to go do something more exciting. But then it always comes back to her being in the house again afterwards.
I know, I mean, there's
Homer doesn't get new jobs for the excitement and stuff. It's just stuff he falls into and then falls back out of.
I mean, the only real episode that I think of where Homer is kind of almost upset with his lot.
Edison one?
The rock camp one. Jerry moans in the taxi about how if he didn't have the family, he'd be doing anything he wants to do. But that's the only real time Homer ever kind of voices his disgruntledness. I don't think Marge ever actively says she's unhappy, but the wanting more aspect.
There are some moments in them where she just like sits there. It's just creepy. If you think back to them, they're in there. Like when she gets that Chanel suit. And it gets wrecked at the sewing machine. Yeah. It's like, a moments like this, all you can do is sit back and laugh. And she just sits there in this dead silence. Yeah. You're just like, oh, if there was a glass of wine there, she'd be like pouring that shit out, you know.
Well, it's like the Scorpio episode where she does. She's got nothing to do.
When she's got nothing to do, she becomes an alcoholic. She was much more interested.
It's not an alcoholic, is it? It's not an alcoholic because it says, what does it say? I know you're supposed to have 2 glasses today, but I can't drink that much.
She's much more interested in that first season. Like, you know, when she gets pissed at the company picnic.
Yeah,
and she's kind of like a lesser hardcore Homer. She's just like,
well, maybe that's what they had to reel her in because Homer was getting more out of control. Because Homer at the early stuff was just a bit of a lout. He was just kind of the unthinking husband.
Well, in season 1 as well, you've got stuff you never think about. Life in the Fast Lane is in season 1.
Yeah, she nearly has
with the affair with Jean-Pierre, I want to say just because he's a French guy.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
It's what's his name? It's Albert Brooks anyway. Like before he was Hank Scorpio. There is like an actual moment in that when she's driving to the affair, driving to the alley, and saying she's going to carry on this affair. Like it's really sad, that episode, because even though it's never said, like Homer kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And she makes she makes a conscious decision to like go back to the normal boring life of Homer or to carry on with
this exciting French man.
Again, an actual fork in the road moment, which comes to an actual fork in the road, and that's like season 1. You know, she's already thinking about a way out there.
I mean, obviously, it's not made clear she physically did anything with him, but she definitely had an emotional affair.
Affair.
You know, in some people's books is sometimes even worse. Whereas, I mean, Homer has come close a few times, but I don't think he's ever had an emotional affair. His heart has always been with Marge. Like Lily Lunkin, I think he was completely oblivious.
He was. That was the point of the thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
The girl from his work, I've forgotten her name. Voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer, but I can't remember the character's name. Again, Mindy. They just get on really well, but I don't think it's emotional.
He feels bad about it when it gets physical.
Straight away, yeah. Whereas Marge almost went along with it for a while.
It's this American ideal, that relationship, though, isn't it? It's that, like, it's what they were pitching in the 50s is what you're meant to do. It's like meet your high school sweetheart, get married, have kids, work a normal job. Yeah. Work a normal job that betters the country with his nuclear power, you know. But it could have been different, should have been different, you know.
So I still don't know. I think that if you'd asked the early Marge what the future Marge is going to turn out to be like, she wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, season 2 is when we get the flashbacks to when they were dating, or when they weren't dating, but before they were dating with Artie Ziff.
Yeah.
Like, basically, almost raping Marge in that car.
Quite a dark episode, isn't it?
If there's like some kind of Back to the Future kind of rape situation, but if it was probably okay in those times.
Yeah, handsy.
My busy hands. But it's the same problem people have with Back to the Future, and it's like you form an emotional attachment to someone because they were there when you were almost raped. It could have been a lot darker.
I think we're going down a strange tangent here that I want to pull back to. Is Marge happy? Rather than Artie Ziff's sexual assault. I think she's a lot more complex than a lot of the characters in it.
That's a good point.
I think she is a lot more complex.
The complexity is not really visited much.
No, but it's touched upon, definitely. I mean, in terms of other complex characters, I think Krusty gets some quite complex stuff to do with his father quite early on, but after that, he just becomes a caricature. Homer, there's some stuff with his mum, which is, you know, he has very kind of mixed emotions about the abandonment, but also...
That's played up for like a TV kind of deal where she's on the run and then like they have to hide there and then but like Marge's stuff is just like
actual self-fulfillment, isn't it?
It's never really been glossed over because like Marge's mum is only in like 3 or 4 episodes of that.
Does she? I was asking this the other day. Someone did they kill her off? I can't remember. Or is she just?
I don't think so.
Isn't it like an auntie who dies? She gets Jub. It's from her auntie, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a different episode.
Legend of the Dogfish. But
she's like the bit that she's in. She's very unpleasant. The dad seems to have his issues from being a male flight attendant.
Yeah,
like the whole episode when she's in therapy. The doctor says like, well, that's just the crusting on the pie here. Only we've got a lot more to get into.
Yeah,
and Homer goes, nope, thanks.
That's it. All done.
Because if she gets any more clear, she'll break up with his ass. You know what I mean?
She's essentially better than Homer.
She's better off without him.
And Homer is completely aware of this. When he loses the kind of track of being like a good, like husband or father, it kind of jolts him that like he's really lucky to have her, basically.
Yeah.
And that kind of wakes him up, which is it's really kind of it's quite sad. So surely Marge is aware of this as well, but she also understands that despite his flaws, he is a good human being. That's kind of the whole thing that always saves Homer. If he wasn't such a good person, deep down underneath all the shit, we wouldn't care. We wouldn't care as much for him. I think and she recognises that, and she's weighed up in her mind. Well, this is what I'm just guessing that's kind of worth more than, for example, the riches of Artie Ziff.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
she's definitely made the choice there. You look at the episodes when she leaves him, like when he's living in the treehouse, there is a Frenchman.
Yeah, he falls apart, completely falls apart.
The way he comes back to her is like, I've only been without you whatever days and I'm already dead as a Frenchman. Yeah. It's like, that's not Marge's problem.
No, I mean, he's even literally said in the episode that I've got complete dependence on you. Like, he needs her, which is terrible.
Yeah,
it's a terrible thing.
That's not how that shit should be, is it?
No, it's... God, the more we talk about it, the more I think she's actually really, really unhappy. And probably rightly so.
Do you know what?
Well.
No, that would also explain her more nagging-ish qualities as well. Like, say the Itchy and Scratchy and Marge episode, it's like people who don't have anything going on in their life want to get involved in everyone else's life.
Yeah.
So she sees this on TV and it's like, oh, this shouldn't be. I'm going to get involved in this.
But at the same time, that could also be construed as she is a protective parent. As I mean, I've never had children, but I imagine it's a very common emotion. So she's thinking, this is bad for my children. I'm going to do the best thing I can. I understand what you mean. She's probably got a bit more time on her hands, possibly.
Season 11, is it Mad Marge? Where she, that's when Otto was going to marry that girl. And then
is it Becky?
Something like Shut up, Becky.
Yeah.
See, that's, I'm not even sure what they're trying to convey. I think the point of that episode even gets away from them. It gets lost in the service of the gags because like it's kind of inferred that she's forcing them to get married, but then there's like a moment in there when it's like you could like she infers she could do better. How does the marriage break up?
There's something about heavy metal that she doesn't like it. Becky pretends to.
Oh yeah, and Marge tells her like you've got to
make a choice.
Yeah,
and also it's just seen driving off.
Yeah, with the cyanide, the loving tribute to poison.
Yeah.
One of my favourite jokes is, we need a ride home. Said with much rock and roll audacity, and they just need to bum a ride from someone. But it's Marge butting into someone else's life, like a young Marge.
That's a good point. Yeah, so she sees something in
and then
the
for
girl.
some reason Becky wants to take her place. I think they just need to do a basic instinct thing.
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other kind of
another butter in the listen lady.
Yeah,
and her buttinskiness actually gets Ned chased by ruffians.
Yeah, well, listen, lady. I can't even remember how she becomes the listen lady. It's just by accident, isn't it?
She picks up a phone. She's volunteering in the church. And
That's
she picks
right,
up a phone when someone's calling. When Mo's calling, I think it is. Well, Mo, you've got lots to live for. Oh, really? That's not what Reverend Lovejoy said.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she kind of replaces Reverend Lovejoy.
It's a Reverend Lovejoy episode, not a Marge episode, but Marge's in there.
I don't think she's butting in though. Well, I suppose she picks up the phone.
But it gets to the point where it's like she's overconfident enough in her role as a listen lady. It's like, this is what you need to do, and like it's not the right advice for that situation.
But I think that's probably a very human thing. As soon as anyone gets that kind of power, you'd imagine that you can be like, well, I'm just brilliant at this. I'm a great
Marge is probably the most human of the characters. She's the most grounded.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
All of them, everyone in The Simpsons, Marge is the most grounded.
Yeah, she never has the kind of weirdness that some of the other characters get at any point.
She does like potatoes.
I don't remember that.
There's an episode when they go into show and tell. It's like she's like, you can always take this potato, and like, why are you always trying to give us potatoes?
I just think they're neat. That's it.
That's such a fucking weird scene.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I forgot about that.
But that's just but she is the most grounded, real. Of them.
And I think it's quite telling as well that when they have to have some sort of really real emotion episode, it's kind of put on Marge. Like when Bart shoplifts.
Oh, Marge being proud.
It could easily be Homer, but they realised that it wouldn't be the same if Homer's the disappointed one. Has to be Marge.
Yeah.
Because her reaction is like perfect. The idea where she's almost just really disappointed, rather than mad or angry. It's just that kind of, I don't know.
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible thing, and only she can convey that well. Whereas the character Homer wouldn't be able to do that.
No, he just goes on off a rant about Police Academy.
Yeah, exactly. It would.
Oh, you think I took you to those Police Academy movies for fun? Well, I didn't hear anyone laughing.
Which is
good Homer rant.
Yeah, it's poor Marge. She seemed like is she trapped?
What about when Homer becomes an outsider artist, and she's like, "This isn't art. I'm the one who makes art." And it's like, well, yeah, Marge. What have you been doing to make art though? You haven't been making art. You've been raising those kids.
I know, but then again, raising kids is not like some sort of easy task either.
Got to set up an easel in the corner, have a paint. I'm not. Mothers have had it easy for too long.
Wow. Yeah, Liam and his anti-mother rant.
Someone had to say it. Oh, I raise kids. It's a full-time job. You know what's a full-time job? Having a full-time job.
Oh, wow.
Work in a hotel. Try that for a size, and those bastards now give you a second to.
These views are not represented by me. No, I just feel there's a lot there's a lot of potential she never reached.
Yes.
And I imagine that is always going to, outweigh anyone, I imagine. Whereas Homer, for example, is complete opposite. He never had any potential.
No potential.
And if anything,
he's definitely
been
done
to
better.
space, he's done so much. And Marge has just never ever reached the heights that she was definitely more than capable of. And that's probably what it...
When those lights go out in that Simpsons house, she must be thinking about smothering him with a pillow. Because she had so much potential and has done nothing. But Homer's won a Grammy, he's been to space.
Yeah.
He's been all over the friggin' world. Even his normal 9-to-5 life is pretty impressive compared to just being homemaker.
I wonder what Lisa thinks of her mother then.
Well, like I said, like they do Marge and Lisa episodes down the line when it's like mutual respect homes. You know, like they do care for each other, obviously. Something else I noticed watching as much Bob's Burgers as I do, because I'm a big Bob's Burgers fan. That family loves each other so damn much.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like Linda just like says it all the time in an annoying, mothery way. And even Gene just yells, "I love my family!"
Yeah.
And it's just part of it. And like they're so close, even though the kids like mess with each other. Like the saying is, belches from the womb to the tomb.
They hang out,
stick together,
so
they pal
often.
around, everything. But in The Simpsons, it's kind of just inferred that they're a close family.
Yeah.
Like there's like maybe 2 or 3 moments where Bart and Lisa say "I love you" to each other. Marge loves her family, but it's not like affectionate outwards of showing of emotion. It's really not.
Again, getting onto the Bart and Lisa situation, they are brother and sister, very close in age. The Michael Jackson episode, there's
some sweet stuff early on there, but I'm saying over the course of the whole thing, it's not like a household of emotions, you know what I mean?
No, it's not.
It's one of those things you don't really think about until you analyse, as I do, sitting here watching cartoons later to the night. If you compare it to something like Peggy, they're similar in that they're both the in charge loud ones. They're both the in charge ones there.
Yeah.
But Peggy has what Marge doesn't have. She has this overinflated sense of ego and self-worth. Yeah. I hate Peggy.
Really?
I really do. I will not watch the Peggy episodes of King of the Hill.
Peggy. I love her.
Oh, everything about she's just so pompous and self-absorbed, and everything she does is great, and she's so fantastic. But she's really not. She's just she can't speak Spanish. She's this big-footed stomper of a loud woman who's raising that kid to be not right. It's funny. There's basically as happens in these things, like they have the exact same episodes where like Marge and Peggy are like working in prisons for some reason, and Peggy's accidentally sneaking cocaine in boggle sets.
Okay.
Yeah, and Marge gets what's his name out, Michael Keaton's character out, just because like they both think like, oh, I'm really nice, I'm really helping, and they're not.
There's a difference, though, isn't there? I mean, at least they're trying to help, if that makes sense, as opposed to just not.
But this is what I'm saying, like. All that I'm trying to help is also like that. Oh, I'm getting out of the house and I'm doing something. This is stopping me from focusing on the void of nothing that is my purpose in life.
I don't think Peggy, for example, feels that way. I think Peggy feels like...
She doesn't, because she's knocked those thoughts out of her head and replaced them with a, God, I'm great. Right. I'm a substitute teacher 2 times of the year.
So Marge is more self-aware then?
Yeah, I think Marge cries into a wine glass at night.
Wow. It's
There's some dark fan fiction about this somewhere, yeah, I'm telling you.
No, I actually feel really, now I think about it, the vast potential of Marge as a human being, and basically being way.
I can't even remember what episode it's in, where it's the painting above the couch there. Someone takes it off or it gets knocked off. She's hanging it back up and she looks at it and she goes, "You really had a lot of talent, kid."
I know. It's almost as if she needs to not be with Homer.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she could. If they killed him off, for example, I think she could easily raise the 3 children by herself.
Oh, 100%.
And then she could probably more than capable of getting a really good job and probably excelling.
And if anything, that would straighten Bart out a bit, because he'd have to up his responsibility.
So if anything, Homer, despite all the love that she has for him, is just ultimately bad for her. It's really bad for
news.
her. Yeah.
Bad news.
Yeah. Because she can go back into real estate, for example, make a fortune, and she could she could actually have it all, which is kind of strange, isn't it? As they say,
she could be a single white female having it all.
I hate that kind of it's kind of a bit patronising, isn't
America.
it? But it's such a strange thing because it's always the women who seem to be ones to have it all. Men,
we just get it all because we're men.
Have it all.
We just get drunk and shave.
But it is just it's a strange one. Maybe she's not happy then.
There's the bit where the Chanel Suit One episode again. That's all about her wanting to fit in the country club, which is like a good animation trope. But it is just like, guys, just don't be yourself, and then I'll get to be happy for a change. Like the whole point of that episode is she buys that suit, and she only buys that suit as a treat for herself because she never treats herself. Yeah. It's like the first thing she's bought herself, apart from like some kind of American soft drink that they talk about. Yeah. And when she does try and treat herself, that changes her completely. And she was blending in with those people, but she just didn't have the clothes to back it up.
Poor Marge.
Have I sufficiently ruined that for you now?
Yeah, you've ruined Marge now for me. I hadn't really delved into her character. I always thought that she had a lot of depth there, and I always thought she's quite maligned. I didn't like the idea that she's just kind of I suppose she is this, as I said before, she is the straight man, but there's a lot more to her. Mm-hmm. And when you examine it, they give her, when it's kind of a complex emotion, like a very subtle one, it's always kind of put on Marge to convey it, which shows that she's, I don't know whether the writers think highly of her in that regard, but it's definitely, she's more capable of the nuance. Homer isn't capable of it. Homer is just like beer, food, fun. She's more capable, and a similar way to Lisa, I suppose. It's seeing more out of the world rather than just the idiotic baseline of Bart and Homer.
Examining it as a text, like as characters, like within the show, it actually makes her one of the better characters. Yeah, that she's so unhappy, you know. And you look at a great example of that is the Simpsons movie. Where like they're in the cabin in Alaska or whatever it is there, and she breaks up with him over that tape, and it's the most dramatic Simpsons acting ever in that one scene. Like it brings a tear to my eye, man. It's really upsettingly moving. I can't even remember why is it. It's because
I can't remember.
He doesn't want to move back, and she wants to move back, and then there's like a big realization of something. But she says, like, to prove that this is over now, I've taped over the wedding video, and the wedding video's early on. Like, she goes back into the house to save the wedding video because that's what matters. Yeah. But like, and she's really determined for it to be over there. But I guess by Homer coming back, he's proved that he's capable of caring. Yada yada yada. I don't think it shows Homer right in the best light because all the times he leaves, he comes back on like the flimsiest reasons. It's like even the gun episode is like, oh, I'm choosing the gun over the family. Oh, they won't let me in the NRA anymore. Yeah, I choose the family over the gun, but I've still got the gun with me.
Yeah, it's she never really has anything like that. The family is always at the forefront of her mind. Even the Chanel Suit One, when she becomes like. Well, it's not even that bad. She just gets a bit snippy and a bit kind of concerned of how she appears to these new people. But she realizes pretty much instantly Homer will like march down Fuck Avenue for about 3 days before realizing that he's made like a mistake. Marge is she's a lot. She can kind of arrest anything before it gets too out of hand. I mean, she immediately, as soon as she snaps at her children, she immediately stops. Homer brings a gun into the house.
Do you know? Yeah, it's in the Chanel episode. Like the breaking point is when she gives a scowl to Maggie for sucking too loud on the pacifier, and it's just like she's reached the point of like, what are you doing, Marge? This is not you.
Self-awareness again, which other characters don't have. I think Lisa has it, but as far as I'm aware, doesn't really have any sort of self-awareness. Again,
Lisa has it, but she's burdened by her own intellect. So
she gets kind of
self-aware, but like aware that she's smarter than everyone.
Yeah, possibly.
And that just ruins the experience. As a man who's smarter than everyone around him, let me tell you something. it really bums you out sometimes.
Lisa's just still too young, isn't she? She's still trying to form her opinions on the world, and it's like that kind of weird teenage thing where you get an opinion and it becomes like your worldview, and you get kind of quite pompous about it. Lisa's basically a 13-year-old trapped in an 8-year-old.
Yeah, definitely.
But Marge, the self-awareness is it's there. Other characters don't have it. So in essence, then, there's always that, again, it's a bit of a trope, isn't it? I hate using the word trope as well.
Yeah, we'll use it enough times now.
Smarter people are generally more unhappy. That's the kind of...
Yeah.
So maybe she's not happy.
Okay, I've successfully proven my point there, haven't I?
You have.
Well done, Liam.
Well done, Liam. God damn you.
Yeah, so
now whenever I see him, I'm just going to think, oh, Marge.
honey.
Just get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Dump him, honey. He's a loser.
Yeah. He's so much better. Poor thing.
Well, you know, they've really started sexualising Marge a lot later in the new Simpsons. I don't know how that fits in here at all.
I haven't really seen the newer ones.
It started slow. Like, there was an episode when she got, like, breast implants.
Really?
Yeah. And like, she shows her boobs at the end of it. It's terrible. And then there's the episode where she becomes a bodybuilder.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
that's really strange. They kind of hint that she rapes Homer in that episode.
Oh yeah, which
is really odd.
But like, that's a really an old gag, that though, and like the woman subverting of the roles and initiating sex with muscles. They did it in Family Guy. Pretty sure Futurama, the snoo.
Yeah.
Amazonians, great bit. When they do it in Futurama, it's a great bit because it's sci-fi. But when everyone else does it, it's a bit weird.
I always remember that bit when Fry's funeral, or like the image of his funeral, and it's everyone he's had sex with, and the Amazon. What are they called?
Amazonians.
He made great snoo, and you just go, nah. And apparently, and I only just noticed the other week, someone told me that there's the radiator. Because there's a joke where he had
that
sex
hot radiator from the radiator plant.
And the radiator's there, so...
It's good to laugh again.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So are we done with Marge then?
Yeah, that's that.
Cool.
If anyone's got any counterpoints, do email them in.
Or you can just kind of get onto our raving misogyny, and Liam's women hating in the Simpsons. That's an episode all in itself.
Indeed.
All right. Cheers.